Painting tools. Painting tools are used to change the area of the canvas or image by adding paint strokes or filling the areas with color. Photoshop provides different types of painting tools. Let's learn about them. Brush tool. Brush tool is a traditional painting tool which is used to apply colors with strokes on the image. You can see several brush presets samples available in the brush preset picker in the options bar. While selecting the brush tip or presets, it also allows you to modify the size and hardness of the brush. You can also adjust the flow of the color on the screen with the help of different modes available in the options bar. Opacity slider in the options bar controls the thickness of the color in the image. Flow determines how quickly the brush tool applies the color. You can also select foreground color, that is the color in the upper box, and background color, that is the color in the lower box. Here, the foreground color is blue and the background color is white. Follow the below steps to use the brush tool. Step 1. Open a new or an existing Photoshop document. Step 2. Click on the brush tool in the Tools panel. Step 3. Choose a brush from the Brush Presets panel. Step 4. Select options for mode, opacity, size, hardness, etc. from the options bar. Step 5. Select the foreground color. Step 6. Click and drag in the image to paint. To draw a straight line, hold down Shift key while dragging. Pencil tool. Pencil tool creates freeform lines like a normal pencil and uses the foreground color. It is like a virtual pencil that you can use to create designs or lines with options to change the color, opacity, intensity, and pencil diameter. It also works with various modes to enhance the outlook of your project and create unique design artworks that look like hand-drawn images. Follow the below steps to use the pencil tool. Step 1. Open a new or an existing Photoshop document. Step 2. Click on the pencil tool in the Tools panel. Step 3. Go to the Brush Preset panel to modify the size and shape of the pencil tool. Step 4. Click and drag on the canvas or the image to draw. You can also try different modes available in the options bar. Color Replacement Tool. Color Replacement Tool replaces the original color of an image through sampling with the foreground color. By specifying different sampling methods, limits, and tolerance settings in the options bar, you can control the range of colors that Photoshop replaces. The mouse pointer will change into a circle with a small plus sign in the center called crosshair. Follow the below steps to use the color replacement tool. Step 1. Open an image in which you want to change the color of an object. For example, the red apple. Step 2. Click on the color replacement tool in the Tools panel and select green as foreground color. Step 3. Select the desired brush tip, size, hardness, modes, limits, etc. from the options bar. Step 4. Move the crosshair over the object red apple in the image and click. As soon as you click, Photoshop samples the object's color red under the crosshair. Now it knows which color to replace. The color under crosshair changes into green foreground color. Step 5. Just click and drag the mouse button over the remaining areas to change the rest of the color. Do not move the crosshair away from the object. Otherwise, it will sample the color of the area outside your object and will start changing it to foreground color as well. If you do so by mistake, you can just undo. Sampling continuous replaces all the colors with the foreground color. Sampling once changes color which you first click. Sampling background swatch replaces the color of the object into the background color. You can select your desired blend mode from color, hue, saturation and luminosity. Contiguous limit replaces the color of neighboring pixels containing the sampled color. Discontiguous limit replaces the color of the pixels containing the sampled color, whether or not they are close by. Tolerance refers to a range of color. A high tolerance lets you replace a broad range of colors. A low tolerance limits the replacement of color to only areas that are similar to the sampled color. Anti-aliasing softens and smoothens the edge of the sampled areas slightly. Mixer brush tool. Mixer brush tool lets you paint in Photoshop as if you're painting on a real canvas. It lets you pick color from the canvas. That is why it is also known as a realistic painting technique, which mixes colors on the canvas, combines colors on a brush and wetness across a stroke. It gives sober bristle effects and textures that resemble those in paintings that you might create on a canvas. It mixes with the color in the background and with the canvas itself. It converts photos into artwork without applying filters, etc. Follow the below steps to use the Mixer brush tool. Step 1. Open a new document and select the Mixer brush tool from the Tools panel. Step 2. Select the desired brush from the Brush Presets picker in the Options bar. Step 3. To sample a color, either you can click on the current brush load from the Options bar and select the desired color, or press Alt key and click from where you wish to sample color in the current image. Step 4. Set various options in the Options bar according to your preferences, specifying the percentages of wet, load, mix and flow affects the outcome on the canvas. Step 5. Click and drag the mouse on image to paint. Current brush load swatch has 3 options. Load brush fills your brush. Clean brush removes color from your brush. Load solid colors only enables you to pick one color. Load brush after each stroke or clean brush after each stroke automatically loads your brush with selected color and then cleans your brush after each stroke. Blending modes. Choose presets for dry, moist, wet, very wet, etc. History brush tool. History brush tool helps to restore multiple image states with color, details, smoothness as you move through a Photoshop session while working on an individual image. It gives us the option of multiple undos. It allows us to paint back your image to an earlier state. It saves you from the tedious work like duplicating a portion of the image to another layer, retouching a layer and merging to the underlying layer again. History states can also be saved as snapshots with the help of small camera at the bottom of the History panel. In the Options bar, you can experiment with brush size and type, mode, opacity, and flow percentages and airbrush. Perform the following steps to use the History brush tool. Step 1. Open an image in Photoshop. Step 2. Open the History panel by selecting Window. Go to History option from the Application bar. Step 3. Select the History brush tool from the Tools panel. Step 4. Make the desired changes in image. In this case, the image has been changed to desaturate mode by Image, followed by Adjustment, followed by Desaturate option from the Application bar. The History panel saves the steps of this image as layers. We have also highlighted the areas by using the History brush tool and painted over the image as a normal brush. Notice in the History panel, all the versions of the image are saved as different layer. Original image remains unchanged. Gradient tool. Gradient tool creates an inclined blend of two or more colors which adds a creative value to your work. The gradient tool can be used to draw linear, radial, angular, reflected or diamond gradients. The paint bucket tool applies the same color to the entire selection. The gradient tool applies multiple colors that transition from one to the next. Follow the below steps to use the gradient tool. Step 1. Create a new document in Photoshop CC. Step 2. Select the gradient tool from the Tools panel. Step 3. Select one of the preset gradients from the gradient picker on the options bar. Step 4. Drag the gradient tool from the top to the bottom. The selected gradient effect is applied in the document. Photoshop provides 5 types of gradients which are as follow: linear gradient, radial gradient, angular gradient, reflected gradient, diamond gradient. Paint bucket tool. The paint bucket tool in Photoshop fills adjacent pixels that are similar in color in the image. It fills with either the selected foreground color or with a pattern. If the image has flat colors, then there will not be any issues while filling colors. But if the image is complex and has a lot of colors, then paint bucket tool will not be of much use. Follow the below steps to use the paint bucket tool. Step 1. Create a new document or image with similar color or pattern. Step 2. Select the paint bucket tool from the Tools panel. Step 3. Select a mode from the Mode drop-down list in the options bar. In this case, we have selected Linear Burn mode. Step 4. Set the tolerance value in the options bar. The tolerance value directly affects the pixels to be filled with color. A low tolerance means only very similar color pixels will be affected, and high tolerance means more pixels will be affected. The range of tolerance is 0 to 255. If the contiguous option is checked, only pixels that are connected to the original pixel are filled. Step 5. Select the desired foreground color and click on the image. The similar color pixels are changed. 3D Material Drop Tool. The 3D Material Drop tool lets you sample a material or pattern or color from one area or object and then drop it into another area of your 3D model. Follow the below steps to use the 3D Material Drop tool. Step 1. Create a new document in Photoshop and draw a gradient. Step 2. Click on 3D menu in the application bar. A drop-down menu will appear. Step 3. Select the New Mesh from Layer option. A sub-menu will appear. Step 4. Select the Mesh preset. Go to Hat option. The 3D model of hat will appear. With the help of the 3D model handles, you can move your model in any direction. Step 5. To change the texture of the hat, select the 3D Material Drop tool from the toolbox. Step 6. From the options bar, click on the Material Picker option and choose the desired texture from the available material. Step 7. Click on the 3D model, hat. Selected texture will be applied on the 3D model.